Hey, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Paul Dyer on Bridges Live. I'd like to thank all my sponsors and listeners who can always contact me on drpaulholisticscience.com, or you can always email me at drpaulwdyer@gmail. I'd like to thank all our listeners and people who contact me, who listen to some of the show. And what I find interesting, like when people listening to the show, is that they're recording and downloading old shows. That's great. No matter how you get to the show, no matter how many times you listen to the show, I like to say thank you. And again, on Bridges Live, I'd like to bring everyone to three things: information, understanding, and action. And with those three things, I think we can move forward in everything we are doing. And I'd like to bring on a good friend of mine, Jessie. Jessie, welcome to Bridges Live.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
Great. We've talked so many times before, but I think this is the first time you're on Bridges Live.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
So let's introduce yourself to people, because I know you, but everyone else doesn't know the wonderful man that you are. I mean, because not only most men aspire or try to be, you inspire. And I know you've inspired me, and I know you've inspired a lot of other people, but I'm glad to call you friend. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, again, my name is Jessie Bowen. I'm a martial artist. I've been in the martial arts now for almost 48 years. And, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to my life or happened in my life, and being a martial artist. And it's not really about being a martial artist, but it's about discovering a great teacher that inspired me. Because when you have people that inspire others, it's generally because they have been inspired by someone else, and they're willing to pass it on. I'm the director and founder of the American Martial Arts Alliance Institute and the American Martial Arts Alliance Foundation, and we promote the Who's Who in the Martial Arts publications, Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers publication, and we're really trying to, work forward to do some good things in the martial arts. A lot of people talk about things. I really try to work on implementing things.
You said something that really, I didn't think of it as much. You said when people who inspire others were once inspired by great teachers. And when you said it, I reflected on that, and I think, who was my teachers, or who are teachers in my life, and they did inspire me to be why I try to do so much with the martial science, which, as you know, in the martial arts and martial sciences and the living sciences, because those people did inspire me to say the love of life, the love of people, the connection of all of humanity is important to carry on. So thank you for saying that, because I never really reflected on it that way until you said it. Because I know we do things because we've gotten inspired, but the person that inspired us, or even our faith, our God, our belief, our higher power that inspired us, has done great things.
Well, that becomes the problem. And when I say the problem, if I look at the martial arts, and for the 21st century, this is where we have to look at the perspective of martial arts is from the 21st century. We cannot look at the martial arts from 1962. We are different people. We're in different places. Our thinking is different. And so today what we need is we need leaders. Mm-hmm. And we profess that the martial arts is this powerful tool that can make all the world right. Well, we have to begin to teach it. And we have to begin to educate ourselves on the 21st century of how our art works in the 21st century. When you go to a job place, you got a certain set of tools you use for that job. If you're a carpenter and you're going to build a shed, you need a certain set of tools to build a shed. If you're a carpenter, you're going to build a mansion, you need a certain set of tools to build the mansion. There are some tools you can use, you can make do with. But there are certain tools that when you're working on quality, you need to have quality tools, things you can trust, they're not going to break. Well, this is the way the martial arts is. You know, we know from a physical, because we look at the physical element and we talk about it, but you see, body doesn't work without mind.
Right.
So it's really mind, and then it's actually body. So we are developing the mental aspect of who our martial arts students are, as then we're developing their physical aspect, because people quit because they're not motivated. Where does motivation come from? It's an internal process of who we are. So if you fail to motivate the person, so therefore that person doesn't continue, so you just lost another physical working element into your martial arts classroom. So we have to think about leadership. How do we gain leadership? That's the way you develop black belt, is because you develop people that will follow you. And I tell martial artists, and I say to them, if you're not succeeding in your martial arts classroom, you need to look at your leadership. You need to look at the knowledge in which you're leading from.
You do know, we've been talking about this, and a lot of schools, I never want to beseech a school that says, I wish you would do it this way, do it that way, because it's their way, and that's that individuality. But as you're right, you're not developing a martial artist thing. You're developing a money avenue. And a money avenue has nothing to do with a martial artist. A martial artist has everything to do it has everything to do with mind and spirit, because the physical comes and goes. Hello, Jess?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And actually, I've got a book I'm working on that should be coming out shortly, and it's called The Psychology of Running a Martial Arts School. Because the confusion is that my art has something to do with my business, and it doesn't. My business is, to run a business is the same skill set if I'm running a department store, or, regardless of whatever the business is, then there's a certain set of things I have to do. I have to pay taxes, I have to fill out the same forms. When it comes to my martial arts class, and that's where people that are not succeeding in business, they think that other people that are, that they're selling out their art to be able to be successful in doing that. But you see, it comes back into leadership. Right. The person that has 300 skills, he's just a better leader. And when I say better leader, he's a better leader in the marketing process. It doesn't have anything to do with his art. Correct. His art may be lousy, but I tell people that are complaining about people with lousy art and a lot of students, well, what you should do is make a trade-off. You say, listen, let's make a deal. I'll teach you good art. You teach me good management. And we don't, and martial artists don't ever actually learn good management, even if they are good artists, like you said. And even corporations, they have tapped into what we are teaching as far as how to inspire their employees. You're exactly right. And this is that other thing, is that, people that don't study the martial arts, such as corporations and business, they've heard of the, book of Art of War, and they understand that, this is a powerful thing, in the Japanese culture. But you see, they're intrigued about it, and this is sort of what I do as a corporate educator. So I actually travel the world teaching executives about how to implement martial arts principles into business management. Martial arts principles into business management. And, if you are a motivating person, now, let's take a moment for a minute and talk about motivating. You see, being a good motivator would mean that I have to study and I have to become knowledgeable of what motivation is. So I might talk to you and you get, all pumped up because I'm talking, but if I don't realize that I have a skill set that I have learned and I've developed about understanding people, then I'm not able to maximize that ability. So this is the reason why, as a teacher, that constant study, the constant meditation, the constant, so if the things that I know, the things I do, are not the natural things I know and do. They're the things that I've studied, I've taken classes on, I've been around motivators. I understand Jack Canfield, Les Brown. Les Brown is my hero. Every time I step out in front of a group, Jessie doesn't step out in front of a group. Les Brown steps out in front of a group of people. You see the mindset? The transition, Clark Kent and Superman.
Right.
They're one and the same, but the mindset and your knowledge base. So that's what we're talking about. And this is the reason why we have so many great martial arts leaders that have so much information that, they're leaving the world and they're not sharing that information. They don't, we're losing the content. Bruce Lee, people still know who Bruce Lee is. They still know who Chuck Norris is, and a few other people, but there's so many people that we don't know. And that's what the Who's Who books and the martial arts pioneers have been about, is to educate people from around the world. Am I out here on a planet by myself?
No. Talking
to myself about myself? Are there others it's like being on a lost planet? Mm-hmm. Are there others out here like me? So that's sort of what we're trying to do. Inspiration is, we all have inspiration. And, we all have grown from that. And we have to teach others about inspiration. Your kids that you have teaching your classes that are going to one day become adults, they have to understand that they are motivating people. They're not just teaching people. They're motivating people. That's what leadership is about, is getting people to stay in your classes longer, getting them to see the vision of black belt, getting them to have a positive response to everything that you're actually doing.
And I know I actually tell my students, I say, I'm teaching you to be teachers. So that's why everything I teach you is more in depth. I teach you so you can be able to share with the next. Each one teach one. And as long as each one can teach one, whether it be in this classroom, whether it be on the school bus, whether it be in the restaurant, we're here to teach, share, love, and protect. That's kind of like really my motto.
And, and that's what we have to do. We have to, and that's good, because that's what we have to do. We have to understand the value of the human person that we have in front of us, mm-hmm. that we're going to have an influence. A martial arts instructor is a very powerful person, because parents bring their kids in, or the husband sends their wives to our classes, guys come to our classes, wives send their husbands to the class, and they have entrusted us to do certain things to make them better. So every time someone walks into your martial arts classroom, or someone says, will you be my teacher, what they're actually asking you, will you make my life better? Or will you make my life better? So we have to look back and look at our own lives. Are we qualified to make their lives better? What are we actually doing to make our lives better, mm-hmm. as martial arts instructor? We were taught kick, punch, fight hard. Nobody takes over your dojo. You called out, you have to meet that challenge, meet the challenge of life.
You implemented a program recently that you're bringing across the country. Let's talk about that program.
There's quite a few. Are you talking about the corporate program, or the corporate program?
Yeah, the corporate program.
Okay. Well, I've been actually involved in, motivational training. I started back in, I think, 1982 with Brad Daugherty. He used to play with Carolina. Mm-hmm. He's a commentator now. He was my first client that someone ever brought to me and said, can you help him become better? And, then I've gone on to take seminars. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified lecturer with a program called Silva Method, and that's SILVA. It's one of the world-renowned personal development training programs. I'm a sports hypnosis coach. Done a whole lot of different other certifications. And so what I've done is gone to corporations and, sharing with them from a martial arts perspective the black belt mindset, mm-hmm. and shared with them. And people that brought me in pretty much knew my history, but being an author has helped me open up doors that I couldn't have opened up. So that's what helped me. So I've been with Duke Corporate Education now for about 7 years, and Duke CE, or Duke Corporate Education, is ranked as the #1 custom executive training program in the world. They have companies all over the world. And, so what they do is send me in for me to be, I'm a closer. So I'm the motivational guy that comes in. I read all the material they've done in their training program for a whole week. I have to, do an overview of that and present back everything they've done on a business corporate level, from mindset, goal set training, everything that they've done about growing their business, and now put it into a karate language that they can have some fun at, understand. And my program is called Breaking Through Barriers, and implement that. And that's turned to be very successful. My first trip that I ever took out of the country was to Switzerland. I presented for Swiss Re. I just finished a couple of weeks ago for Nike. And next month I'm heading to New York for American Express. So I have about 5 other companies that are going to be bringing me in, between now and September.
Now let me ask you something, Jesse. Do you think corporations understand what they need, or has something been presented to them that they say this is worthwhile? Because, sometimes when we look at corporations, we can look at them as the evil monsters, and sometimes they just are. But sometimes the evil monster also has a heart that you can touch, that they can actually open up to their employees and to the public. So back to my question is do some companies know that this is worthwhile, or do they have to be talked into it, so to speak?
Well, this is what the secret is. They have discovered that it is not the martial arts.
Right.
It's the presentation of the martial arts and the image that we build from the martial arts. So they don't want to hear about karate. They don't really want to hear about supernatural things. They really want to know, how can I give this to me in a sense that I can understand it? Because corporations, they come from you at a whole different level. And the people that I'm talking to are the top of the executive field. So I'm having to come in and from a physical, visual sense, build something that they can see, touch, and then tie all everything back together in a motivational statement that they can actually take away. So that's sort of what can I now do, and to have a takeaway I can take back, and I have them break boards in this class. And that's sort of the summation of breaking through barriers, is that they actually physically get to do something they didn't believe they could do, or they have not done. So that sort of puts that signature on. And when I'm asked to come in, it's because the company they have done an assessment of the company that they're working with, to see whether or not my principles behind the black belt minds. Remember it's not the black belt technique.
Right, it's black belt mindset.
It's not the black belt technique. It's the black belt mindset. Like the Clark Kent and Superman. Superman and Clark Kent, they're one and the same.
That's right.
And the difference happens is that, nobody's ever seen Clark Kent fly. So you have to change who you are sometimes to do supernatural things. You have to think outside of Jesse.
And that's hard for people to really grasp, because they never look at themselves as being something more than what they think they are. And I get into those constructs. People have developed these constructs, or these barriers, these walls, about what box they're supposed to be placed in. And you said it, people have to learn how to develop to think outside the box. It just doesn't just come. It has to be developed, trained, and taught.
Well, and that's the reason why we have, the American Martial Arts Alliance, now we're the American Martial Arts Foundation, American Martial Arts Alliance Foundation, and we're building online classrooms. So, I just, between October and December, I launched 5 new books. One new book is on goal setting, the fundamentals of success. And in the book, I talk about from a different perspective of goal setting, because most people attack goal setting from a principle of goal setting. I attack goal setting from the mindset. You know, you can set goals, but you may not achieve them. But when you set the internal goal, then that happens. So we're starting programs to teach about goal setting, vision board training. We have a whole course online that we're developing for martial arts management. And you know, Paul, when I started the martial arts, and opened up my school, I didn't start my martial arts program as an instructor. I was training an instructor from the time I was green belt, but before they would sell me because my organization, my school was a franchise school. But before they would sell you a franchise school, you had to go through their business course.
Okay.
And you had to have a minimum of an associate degree through their business program before they would actually sell you a franchise in the organization. So, you know, I actually came up learning from the time I was a black belt and right before I made second degree black belt, learning about how to run a business and call it how to get out and market this business. So my foundation was not launched on my martial arts skill only. And in many cases, you know, a lot of schools are launched on their martial arts skills and not on their business skills. So therefore, when I came in, it was about production sheets. It was about production. This is 1980. You know, it was about what have you done. So I had 3 schools in the Raleigh-Durham area that I owned. So it was really about your production, your growth, your management, your continual improvement as a martial arts business owner, and then your art. You know, so it was like, you know, and most, you know, I find that with just in bringing outside martial arts in, they don't really last a long time because they're always thinking about their art. They're not willing to get out and do what it takes to run a business.
For the business, right.
Right. You know, and that's what I said is, you know, someone says, well, all you guys talk about is business. Well, Uncle Sam gave you a tax ID number. You know, you're going to pay taxes. Wake up. You know, I mean, I'm not being rude, nor do I intend on being disrespectful. Right. But it is a point of clarity. Now, I have guys, we have, you know, because I just sold my schools back here 2 years ago. But, you know, we had community programs that I sent my black belts out in the community and no charge to get this experience, giving back to the community. And that's why I said, if you say, well, I only want to give, I don't want to have a financial gain, then like I said, you know, please do that. That's what we need more of that. If you're saying, well, I want to quit my day job and actually, you know, and actually have karate as my life, then you need to, you know, what is our program, Jeff Smith, their program, Lawrence Arthur, they're a great number of coaches that are really helping martial arts school owners develop themselves and their profession. Now, you don't realize this is a big thing until you get 60, you get 65, and you didn't do any planning. Right. You know, this is where your impact of your knowledge, you don't take as high as you used to. So start with the end in mind.
You know, before we close this out, and I'd like to thank everyone for listening to Bridges Live, and this is Dr. Paul. You listen to Grandmaster Jessie Bowen, and we're talking about the development of the mindset, and it's the black belt mindset. It is the mindset that, again, I love the phrase of the Clark Kent and superhero, because for me, I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman, so I totally get it, and so, but one of the things we have, as people, as individuals, as communities, that we see the communities failing. We see the global economic failing. We see a lot of our states at each other's throats, either judicially or legislatively or just community. They're not binding together. And I believe the martial arts mindset can bind us together.
Well, that's what we share in time, in time, meaning that, you know, you and I are friends because we have certain values that we believe in. We believe in integrity. We believe in honesty. We're believing moving forward, teaching a concept that we have mastered and that we understand. The unity in the martial arts is that we all have the same purpose. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you want to know how you're doing, check the 5 closest friends. And what does that mean? That means that, you know, if you are a martial artist and you feel that your technique needs to be enhanced, then find someone to help you. If you have left your teacher and you're standing out there all alone and you're making it up as you go and you're creating your own thing, that's okay. But the problem with that is that that's when the watered down thing comes in, is that you're making up stuff, but somebody's already going to walk down the path that you walked down. Yeah. It's having someone to be there to support you, to to be a part of you, and that's a real big thing too. That student doesn't get along with teachers, so student, you know, he takes off and opens up the school down the street. In that, but see, that also becomes leadership. Teachers have to realize students have to grow. And you have to, if you start in the beginning and you are developing your students to become school operators, if that's what if they want to follow you and be in your image, to be school operators, you have to teach them and follow them that they want to be a part of you, because without that leadership and that encouragement, they realize something to be missing in their life. Not necessarily knowledge, but that thing, instead of animosity and anger between the two. When you start now and you understand that your people are going to grow, your kids are going to graduate from high school, they're going to go to college, they're going to leave you, or they're going to get a job, or they're going to want to open up their own martial arts school. You have to realize those things may happen, so you have to, you have to plan your leadership program for those people that want to be, that if they want to be school owners, then they need to be in a leadership training program that they're learning about teaching, they're learning how to answer your telephone, they're building that sense of loyalty, you're helping them to lay out a plan, helping them to be able to take action, create something that's fair for them, something fair for you as the mentor, the teacher, the educator. So, that you created a win-win relationship.
How can people get a hold of you and start reading the books and just say, I need to talk to Jessie Bowen about this. This came up. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, the easiest thing you can do is you can go to who'swhointhemartialarts.com and you can reach me from that website. You can email me at AMAA@gmail.com, and that is Apple Mary, Apple, who, WHOS, who, WHO, at gmail.com. You can call me at area code 919-618-8075. And, Paul, one thing I wanted to know that martial artists, what helped my success? I've written 15 books.
Yes.
So when Duke, because I was already at Duke University teaching martial arts as a part of physical education, but when they asked me to come in to teach, to do a little demonstration, they found out I was a certified coach and I was also a lecturer. That was enticing for them to ask me would I be they asked me would I be one of their corporate educators, but I've already written those books about.
Hold on, Jessie. I think I lost you just a little bit. Hey, Jessie. Hey,
Dana and I came together, and we want to help martial artists that want to become coaches. I started a publishing company in Gwendolyn,